This is the Down and Dirty Dynasty Fantasy Football Podcast with your host, Nick Anderson.
What is up, Dynasty Degenerates? This is your host, Nick Anderson, with the Down and Dirty Dynasty Fantasy Football Podcast. I think there's a good chance that this is probably the drunkest I've ever recorded a podcast right now. When we're talking about quarantine time, we're talking about nights after work, on my weekends. Poppy's probably getting a little drunk, okay? I don't have any new beers to show you guys because, like I said before, breweries are closed. But I'm just drinking a hodgepodge right now. Honestly, I'm not sticking with the tried and true Busch Light. Going a little bit off script right here. But you guys need to stay with me. We're going to have a good time. So what I'm drinking right now is called Funky Buddha. Fancy bitch, ain't it? But we are in the midst of the quarantine. If you guys aren't staying home, you should be. I hope that somebody's advising you to do so. If you're not, I can't make you until they actually pass a decree in which I can arrest you, and I will, and I'll do it happily. But we're talking about fantasy football now. And we are going back into the running back and wide receiver bracket challenge that we got. So, as you guys can see right here on the bracket, we have narrowed it down. We're moving on rounds, okay? So we are on to Justin Jefferson versus Laviska Shenault, okay? Two of my guys I love a lot. So, when I was moving into this, I hope this doesn't ruin the ending to this, but I've been watching a lot of Justin Jefferson here lately, and we're just going to start out with him. I was debating on switching my number 4 spot in my rankings from T. Higgins to Laviska Shenault. I watched the tape again, watched the tape a third time, and I decided that I just can't do it. But, dude, I love Justin Jefferson, okay? This guy's a fucking baller, all right? Extremely good route runner. So when I was watching him, I thought, moving into and watching what was going on with that shit, I thought that Justin Jefferson was a product of the LSU system, okay? There's another guy that we're going to talk about later on today that I kind of thought that he was a system product as well. But I thought that Justin Jefferson was a product of one of the best collegiate teams that we've ever seen play in the NCAA. But I was sadly mistaken, okay? Justin Jefferson runs amazing routes. He's aggressive. He has great cuts. He digs into the routes. He hits the corners hard. Everything that you want to see, the stop to start, all of that shit Justin Jefferson does exceptionally, okay? I'm very impressed with the guy. We'll go over his metrics right here. He is 6'1", 220 pounds with 33-inch arms and 9.25-inch hands. So he's not your prototypical number 1. He's not a 6'3" guy, not 6'4" guy. He's 6'1", which is fine, okay? Look at the litany of players that we've seen go into the fucking Hall of Fame at 6'1". So that's not worrying me right now. He's not your prototypical number 1, but he is a little bit smaller. Still like what he's bringing to the table. Look at his combine numbers, okay? This is the thing that got me interested in Justin Jefferson. Because like I said, pre-watching this film, pre-combine, all of that stuff, I thought, he's just an LSU wide receiver who is a product of being passed to by Joe Burrow, who's going to be the number 1 pick in this year's draft. All of that shit. He ran a 4.43, man. I did not see that speed coming. It was impressive, but when you watch the film, it kind of translates, man. It's something that you didn't see coming, but you should have seen coming, and I should have seen coming. So he ran a 4.43 40. He had a 37.5-inch vertical, which I'm happy with, and he had a 126-inch broad jump. Those are the only metrics that he ran on. I don't know why he didn't do the 20-yard or the 3-cone, bench press, any of that stuff. I don't know why. I'm newish to this stuff, so there's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to completely understand about why they do or don't do things, but doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But the numbers that we have to go with, great fucking numbers. I'm excited about that. His 2019 stat line, he had 111 receptions, 1,540 yards, on 18 touchdowns, and this is the thing that is fucking crazy when you think about this. He had a 91% catch rate. The dude's got the stickiest fucking hands. So when you're looking at somebody that has the route running ability, we've seen it with him. When you have somebody who has the catch ability, 91% catch rate, you can't say that the guy doesn't catch balls. Okay? He's got the catch rate. When you talk about the combine metrics and all that shit, 4.43 340, all right, I'm in. So, I mean, across all fucking avenues, Justin Jefferson, fucking killing it. Like I said, thinking about replacing him with T. Higgins. Okay? But then we got to talk about his competition. And his competition, the next one they're going up against right now, is Laviska Shenault. Now, Laviska Shenault is my dude, man. I fucking love this guy. I know I've talked about him in exhaust here, but the guy is just a fucking gamer. Like I said, he ran the combine knowing that he wasn't going to run a good 40, knowing that he had no business being out there, having a terrible fucking agent, but he ran a 4.58, I think it was, 4.58 and did 17 reps on bench. Okay? The 4.58, I fully anticipate that being dropped down into low 4.4s. Dude had a core muscle injury. And you're going to tell me that with that core muscle injury, that dude's not going to run a fucking, a tenth and a half of a second lower than what he already ran? Nah, man, he's getting that. He's getting that. But regardless of what we can, hypothesize about what he's going to produce, what we can say is what we have from metrics. He's a 6'1" athlete, 227 pounds. So not only is he 6'1", that dude's fucking thick at 6'1", okay? And it shows on the field. He had 31 and 7/8 inch arms and 9 inch hands. Okay, his 2019 stat line: he had 56 receptions, low receptions, with 764 yards and 4 touchdowns. So not great on the touchdowns, not great on the receptions, not great on the yards. He had 68.3% catch rate, so not nearly as good as Justin Jefferson. But the one thing that I can say about this guy after you watch him, the one thing that you can come away, and it's fucking undeniable when you watch him, is that he's got that X factor. Like, the thing that you can say when you watch him is that the dude just has something about him that makes you want to watch and that makes you scared every play that he's going to bust it loose. The way that I kind of compare them is Justin Jefferson looks like he's been a wide receiver his entire life. Okay? Laviska Shenault looks like he's in wide receivers. I mean, you guys have seen the game. They get 10, 12, maybe receptions a game. I mean, that's a big fucking game for them. 10 and 12 receptions. So they get the ball in their hands 10 to 12 times. When you talk about a guy that, like Laviska Shenault, I think that dude was, I need to look it up. I know I haven't looked it up. That's my fault in terms of my research. But I think that he's a guy who was a running back. He was a mobile quarterback, something like that, where he's used to having the ball in his hands all the fucking time. Because I haven't seen a guy in this draft class that looks as comfortable with the ball in their hand as Laviska Shenault does. He looks like a wide receiver that's playing like a running back. He's got the hands of a wide receiver, but the mobility, the comfort, the agility, all of those things as a running back, which is just crazy. You can't teach that shit. The next level, those wide receivers aren't going to get that kind of experience. So you can't reproduce the years that he's had with the comfort with the ball in his hand. So, I mean, that X factor just means so much to me with Laviska Shenault. He needs to work on his routes a little bit. So he's a good route runner. He's not a great route runner. He's okay with hand fighting. The one thing that he does have is he's got that 227 pounds built with that 6'1" frame. Okay, so he can overpower some cats. But you're not seeing him do the same kind of moves, not seeing him hand fight, not seeing him cut, not seeing that slow to start like you're seeing with Justin Jefferson. Okay? He makes good catches. He's got good hands. But he's not doing those acrobatic catches like you see with Justin Jefferson. So, I mean, he's, like I said, the X factor versus the tried and true wide receiver in this class. Okay? Like I said earlier, the dude's just a gamer. He came out to the combine because he just wants to fucking play. And I don't know if anybody else has heard this. I'm sure a lot of people have heard it. But the one thing that I heard about this guy is that he witnessed, and it's kind of a somber thing to talk about, but he witnessed his father die when he was 10 years old. And he's got those dreads that he has right now that are down his back. And he says that those dreads are in honor of his dad, and he honors his dad every single time he plays. And I'm telling you guys, I understand. That's the same reason why I like Jordan Howard, man. I don't know if you guys ever heard the story about Jordan Howard or any shit like that, but his dad was in a wheelchair. In majority of his childhood, he came to every practice. He sat in the car because he couldn't get out of the fucking car and watched him practice. Jordan Howard's, I know we're getting on a tangent here, but I just love this fucking story. Jordan Howard told, well, he was a chubbier kid, I think, told his high school PE teacher that he was going to be an NFL running back. And the PE teacher laughed in his face and told him, you better pick a better profession. And Jordan Howard's dad, who couldn't get out of the vehicle, got out and came into the school and yelled at the teacher and told him, fuck you, dude. You don't know my son. You don't know what he's about. That kid's going to play in the NFL. And sure as shit, he's played in the NFL. Okay? Now he's on Miami. Hoping he's going to do something there. I think it's actually a pretty good spot for him. But that same kind of grit, that same kind of X factor, the same kind of stuff that we saw with Jordan Howard year one, I think that we might be seeing with Laviska Shenault. I think those guys with a purpose, the guys that go out there and play angry, the guys that play with aggression, with a reason, I think that those dudes are the ones that produce shit, you know? Because when times get tough, when teams start getting rough, when you have a core muscle injury and the draft or the combine is upon you, that's when you see these guys shine, and that's when you see their grit, and that's what we saw from Laviska Shenault. The other thing that I want to go into is that Shenault he's just highly versatile, man. Where you don't see Justin Jefferson doing reverses, where you don't see him doing wildcat offenses, you see Laviska Shenault doing that stuff. So that's why I've always compared him. I've kind of said that he is kind of like a Deebo Samuel to me. That I think that he is a guy that can go out there and not only catch passes, but he's going to get work out of the backfield as well. And those are numbers that you just can't reproduce with a wide receiver, you know? You can get as many catches as you want, but you can't get those rushing yards. You can't get those wildcat yards. All those things. Those are great, great, great things to have, and that's what you want to see in a wide receiver because it's what keeps you on the fucking field. So, now that we've analyzed them, now that we've gotten down to the nitty-gritty of them, now we've talked about how much I love Laviska Shenault and Justin Jefferson. We got to pick a guy, okay? We got to pick one of them. Got to go forward. And the honest answer is, even though I fucking hate to do it, it is my least favorite thing in the world to do, I've got to pick Justin Jefferson, okay? The dude is just too skilled at wide receiver. Like I said, coming into this, I didn't want to like him. I didn't like what he was putting out there on the earth. I didn't like the narrative of what he was doing. Okay, but after watching it, watching his routes, watching his hands, seeing his combine, seeing his gauntlet, all of those things, the X factor of Laviska Shenault, the versatility of Laviska Shenault does not outweigh what I think that Justin Jefferson is going to be able to put out there in an offense. I mean, if you get Justin Jefferson as a replacement for Stephon Diggs on the Vikings, something like that, the dude is going to be fucking unstoppable. I just pay attention to the dude. He is a fucking riser. He's going to be an immediate producer in the NFL. That's not to say that Laviska Shenault is not, but I'm just all about Justin Jefferson. So he moves on to the next round, man. Laviska Shenault, you're going down the loser's bracket. I have no doubt that we're going to be seeing you rise from there. But that's where we're at, man. So let's go on. Moving on to our running backs. As you guys can see up here, a new bracket. We've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus my boy Joshua Kelley. See, I think I like to appreciate the dark horses in these drafts, the guys that aren't on the top 5 lists. I like to find the guys that are the diamond in the rough that somebody's going to pick up later in the draft and it's going to turn out to be something. I drafted Chris Carson. I actually got a funny story for you guys. We started doing fab in one league, and I didn't understand fab because I'm a fucking idiot. And I spent my entire fab budget on Chris Carson one year at the start of the year. And my buddies gave me the option of reverting it and getting all my fab dollars back. But if I did that, I had changed my fantasy name from the Violator to whatever the fuck they wanted. Told them they'd kiss my ass, and it was the best decision that I ever made. Because I like those guys that are underappreciated that end up turning into something, okay? So I kind of think that Joshua Kelley could be that Chris Carson guy, but let's start analyzing the numbers, okay? So we'll start it out with the number 1 seed, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, okay? He's an LSU product. I didn't talk about the age of the guys earlier. They were on the graphics. Not any other fucking ages on here. Whatever. I'll get into them later. They'll be on the graphics. I'll put them on the Twitter page. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is 21 years old. He's an LSU product. And like I said, with him, I thought that he was a product of the LSU system again. Because I've said on here multiple times that drafting a running back is essential, but replacing a running back in the NFL is easy. It's the most replaceable position on the field, but it's also the most valuable to have on your dynasty league. It's a real contrast of ideas there. But let's get into his metrics. He's 5'7", 207 pounds. He's got 9 5/8 inch hands. Let's talk about his combine scores here. He ran a 4.640. Man, I was not expecting a 4.640. The guy is so fucking twitchy. He's so fast and he's so mobile. He's so agile. I did not anticipate a 4.640, but that's what he's got. Stop. Wait. Because it's a drink break. Thank you for your patience. He had 15 reps on the bench. He had a 39.5-inch vertical. I'm actually very, very happy with that. Because because he didn't do the 20-yard shuttle or the 3-cone drill. So at least with a 39.5-inch vertical, it confirms my belief of how explosive he is. So that gives me a little bit of confirmation there. He had a 123-inch broad jump, it's a good broad jump. It's not great. It's not bad. But those are his combine numbers. Just going to my observations from his film. The dude is extremely shifty. He is the shiftiest back, the most elusive back, the slipperiest back that is in this class, hands down. I don't think that there's any question about how elusive Clyde Edwards-Helaire is. If you like... Now, I don't really know how to play this out, because I was thinking about him earlier, and I was thinking that he is very comparable to Eno Benjamin, okay, who we've got, down in the losers bracket right now. But Eno Benjamin is kind of similar to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But then when you watch their tapes side by side, it's like Eno's shifty. But then you see Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that motherfucker is just cutting all over the damn place. And we have that 4.640. But if you guys remember back to Dalvin Cook's draft class, Dalvin didn't run the greatest 40. But then you go see him out there on the field, and he's got that game speed. It's just like how people have ran faster 40s than Tyreek Hill. But when you put pads on that dude, his game speed is different. He's got a different gear. And that's what I like about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, is that he's got that different gear. Because like I was talking about last episode, how Zach Moss didn't have the ability to be creative and get the edge, to be creative and get around the defenders. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who ran a very similar 40, has the ability to be able to be shifty and get to the fucking edge and get around people, and it just blows my mind. It's one of those things, it's just he's got a different game speed. You put pads on these guys as opposed to the Underwear Olympics, and they're doing shit. And that's what Clyde Edwards-Helaire is about. He runs angry. Like, when you watch him, none of the things that he does, the way that he runs, the way that he plays, none of those things remind me of Adrian Peterson. But when I watch how aggressive he plays, it makes me think back to AP when he was at OU and how he just ran mad. Like it seemed like somebody owed him fucking money that was tackling him every single time that he did something. And that's the vibe that I get from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I told you guys 1,000 times that I like my players gritty. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire just seems fucking gritty. He's got good hands. He's a versatile route runner. He got the opportunity to not only run into the backfield, but run out of the slot and shit like that for LSU. So he's got a route tree that a lot of running backs don't have. Okay? So that's a huge bonus for him moving forward. It's he's a better running back than Duke Johnson is. I think hands down he's a better running back, especially in between the tackles, than Duke Johnson is. But he's got that versatility, that wide receiver chops, kind of like how they were talking about putting Duke out at the slot. That's something they could wholeheartedly do with CEH, It's something that he has the option of doing. In my opinion, though, instead of comping him to somebody like a Duke Johnson, I think that he's a comp to like a Ray Rice. And I'm kind of regurgitating this information right now because it's something I heard, but I liked it. Like a Ray Rice, a Devonta Freeman, stuff like that, okay? So that's the potential that I legitimately think that this guy has in the NFL. And when I talk about those players, I've talked about other players and their comps and then saying, like, that's a super high ceiling for these guys. I don't think that a Ray Rice or Devonta Freeman is a super high ceiling for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because I think that he's got that potential in the NFL. I think he's going to come in and be an immediate producer. Obviously, everything is landing dependent, but he's just that good. The only thing that scares me, like I was talking about how I was worried that he was a LSU product, is that in 2018 he just didn't have the production. He just didn't put it together. And he had guys that were getting carried, that he was sharing carries with. And then 2019 he blows up, but the whole team blew up. So my worry is that, what was keeping him back in 2018 and then exploding in 2019? Was it coaching? Was it Joe Burrow coming into his own? Because we all saw that Joe Burrow didn't do shit in 2018, and then in 2019 he blew up. Maybe they were spreading the field out. I don't know. So I don't have an answer to why he didn't produce in 2018 and what he did in 2019, but it's just something to keep an eye at. When you're looking at people and there's that razor thin margin, that might be something that knocks somebody up over the step. Honestly, I mean, super elusive, good pass catcher, runs fucking angry. And just, he's versatile as fuck. But I'm going to go on to my dark horse, Josh Kelley, okay? Let's take a look at him. Now, he is 5'11", 212 pounds. Automatically, I know that it's only, 5 pounds heavier than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but he just looks bigger, runs with more aggression, because one thing that I didn't talk about with CEH is that his power just isn't there. He doesn't have that truck stick capability where I think that Josh Kelley does, And I've talked about Josh Kelley already. We saw him at the start of the bracket, He is a jack of all trades. That's one thing that I love about the dude, is that he just seems to kind of do everything right. What I can compare him to, and I know it's early, I know that there's been really, really good times and really, really fucking bad times, but somebody that I can compare him to is a Sony Michel. That's who he runs like. That's who he plays like. That's who he looks like. He looks like Sony Michel to me. And now don't go look at Sony Michel's Instagram, because if you look at it, he looks like a dude walking down the street in New York, okay? Somehow that dude is a fucking NFL running back, but does not look like one. But Josh Kelley, on the other hand, looks like an NFL running back, man. But he's a jack of all trades. Like when you watch him run, he runs aggressive. He doesn't run the most aggressive, but he runs aggressive. He's versatile. He's not versatile like fucking CEH is, but he's versatile, okay? He's strong. I like what he does out there. He improvises. He puts everything together. And then we look at his combine scores. So in the 40, he ran a 4.49, okay? I'm not saying that's the best score that we've ever seen. I'm not saying that's the best time that we've ever seen. But for a guy like him to run a 4.49, it tells me that with the right system, with the right coaching, this dude could be something, He had 23 reps on the bench. Dude's strong, okay? Dude's real strong. So that's something that I like. He had a 31-inch vertical. Not super excited about that, but I'm not really surprised. Like I was saying, he's got explosion, but he doesn't have that next level explosion, so I'm not super surprised by that. And he had a 121-inch broad jump. Good, not great. Okay? He ran a 6.95 3-cone drill. And then one thing that I really like about him, that I only got to watch a limited sample size of his video, so I didn't get to fully grasp, but he had a 4.28 short shuttle, okay? That's fucking, what is that? 2.1 of a second lower than his 40 time. I love that, okay? He already ran a good 40 time. Then you're running a 2.1 of a second lower short shuttle. I'm in love with that, dude. That tells me that this guy's got the agility to be able to put it together, and from what I saw on him on tape, I'm in love with the guy, okay? I know that some people have him down like running back 15. I've got him up in my top 10, okay? Once I get done with this, I'm going to reevaluate everybody. I'm going to see who I missed, see who should have filtered back in. But right now, dude, Josh Kelley, I love the fucking guy, okay? But let's look at his 2019 stats. He had 229 rushes, on 1,060 yards and 13 touchdowns. Is that right? I'm going to say 13 touchdowns. He had 11 receptions for 71 receiving yards. I don't know if I said what Clyde Edwards-Helaire had, but he had 55 receptions and 453 receiving yards. So obviously significantly better. Joshua Kelley, though, from watching him, he's not the best pass catcher. He's not a natural catcher. He's not a hands catcher. None of those things is what he does. But I do think that he has the ability to be able to do it in the NFL. Is he going to do it in the NFL as an elite pass catcher? No, I don't think so. But he does have that ability to be able to do it. It's something that I think is an understated effort at UCLA, but I think that he's going to be able to pick that up and impress when he goes to the next level. Okay? So, we're looking at Josh Kelley. We're looking at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. While I love Josh Kelley, while this dude is my dark horse candidate, I think that he's going to do good things in the NFL, and I'm going to draft him in my rookie drafts because I want to be right about him. It's honestly, it's not much of a competition with CEH. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to move on to the winners bracket. Josh Kelley's going down to the losers bracket, but still got love from my dude. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man, I was super fucking impressed with his mobility, his agility, his twitchiness, everything that he put out there on the field. I was blown away by. Okay, his pass catching ability, I think he's a top 3 pass catcher in this draft class. Just everything that he does, I think, is going to be great at the next level. It's just going to be, the question's going to be with him is he going to be a 3-down back, or is he going to be relegated only to the pass game? You know, like we've seen Duke Johnson, he can't run between the tackles. And I said CEH has more ability between the tackles, but is he going to be relegated only to the pass game? Only time will tell, but as of right now, he's moving on to the winners bracket, okay? So, that's our next round of the bracket challenge, you guys. Moving on to the next thing. Let me check it out real quick. Sorry, not prepared enough, but I'll see what happens with the next level of the bracket challenge. So, with the running backs, we did wide receivers first, but the next round of running backs I'm super excited about. It's going to be Keyshawn Vaughn versus Zach Moss. Okay, it's going to be a tough one, man. Aggression, mobility versus just sheer fucking power. So, that's what we got next week for the running backs. And on the wide receivers, we are going to have Denzel Mims versus Henry Ruggs. Now, y'all know I'm kind of downplaying Henry Ruggs, and I'm up on Denzel Mims, but only tape will tell on that because everybody else is telling me that Ruggs should be in my top 4. So, we will see what happens on that. Those are our picks for this week. I guess just a little social commentary after that. I watched Tiger King. That shit's fire. That guy wore a goddamn EMS jacket after his lady got her hand cut off just for the drip. The drip is real on that shit. So if you haven't watched that, go watch it. I hope you guys are staying safe during the quarantine. Hope you guys are having fun. Hope you guys are drinking beer. If you haven't gotten on the quarantine beer chug page, jump on there. I added a video from the Triple D FFP, and I also offer, and I'm going to extend the offer for whoever's watching, for another week. So we're going to be doing this on the next Sunday. I'm going to be announcing, if you guys follow my Facebook page and share a video of yourself chugging a beer, I'm sending out to whoever wins it, to my favorite video, a signed Eric Berry jersey that I'm going to add into the podcast, okay? It's a white Chiefs Eric Berry jersey signed. It's got the JSA certification and everything. The dude's a fucking warrior. If you're a Chiefs fan, you know how bad this motherfucker is, okay? He beat cancer, came back, and was the heart and soul of this team for years, okay? So if you're interested in that, follow me on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube page, do one of those two, and then tag me in a video of you doing a beer chug challenge, and my favorite I'll send out the jersey to, okay? So that's the contest. Those are the picks. I hope you like what I'm saying. If you don't, let me know in the comments. If you do, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from y'all. Either way, probably don't listen to me because I'm drunk.